Howdy folks. Hey Rob, John, Jerry, Greg, Daniel, jeez. All the high grade people already turning up. Hey Arnold. Hey Omar. Hey Pixaphone, good morning. Alright, this being a 1989, I'm not sure whether it's going to be the GAY chips or something else. At least I think it's on this model that the GIY chips fail. I can't remember. I don't get them too often. Hey Jim. Oh boy. She's a little dusty. Oh no, this is definitely not one of the GAY chip ones. What do we got? Aside from dust, what is this, a 239? 923, I think. I can't see the number anywhere. Let's see what happens if I plug some power. Hey Alexi. Little leg. We got 20 volts, 500. Are we booting? 600, 700, 100. Well, it's kind of behaving like it's proper. 1.2, 1.3, 1.5. That sort of stepped increasing that you can see, that's basically saying it's charging, but it's certainly not turning on. Alright, so we don't quite have what appears to be the description at this point. That's okay. Hey Defcom. It's been a while since I have bothered to stream, so there's been obviously a great deal of things going on, and I just simply haven't had time to do unimportant things like streaming. So we'll get this board out. Given the level of dust and such, it wouldn't be unusual for there to be corrosion on one of the caps near the CD3215s on the underside. Just put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised. Ach, niemand, wrong. So this is basically like the 1706, except it's the T2 model, I suspect. I'm pretty sure it's T2 under there. And of course you don't have the lifeboat connector, which really sucks because you can, it's handy having that lifeboat connector or life raft connector. Recover data from it. Actually did a job this week with one of those. Defcom, when you talk about your home workload, you're just talking about things like, fixing up things around the house, spending time with the family, that sort of stuff. Sorry, itchy nose. The hay fever has gone absolutely mad around here. The grass is going crazy. We've had quite a lot of rain, and now we've got quite a lot of sun. And I am out with the mower. I go through about 2 or 3 packs a day of the battery packs on the mower, and it's still not keeping it all under control. Alright, let's see. I'm actually a little bit out of practice of getting all the screws out of this. I have to think about it for a little bit there. I will continue to still do edited videos. I just thought I'd drop in and say hello. I was kind of hoping I could back off because it looked for a little bit there like Lewis Rossman was going to start doing some more board repair videos, but then we went back to political, health, weightlifting, whatever videos. So I was like, ugh. Yeah, Greg, I'd be a little bit surprised if there was grass over there. And of course I've been quite busy with flexboard view programming. Every time I think I'm about to get it ready to put out for the next release, I find something that I need to, just a little thing that I need to fix up. But in true programming style, as soon as I pick at that little thing, it turns into a big thing, and then everything gets delayed again by quite a portion. The stream where I was trying to figure out how to use ChatGPT was fairly interesting. Okay. I saw that, interestingly enough, I did not get notification for that. So it's almost like YouTube really doesn't want me to be watching his videos anymore. It's like YouTube is saying, it's over, man, the bromance is over. Long distance relationships don't work. Yeah, Greg, I see he's stolen Micro's picture. Trying to remove my right to decide what I want to do for myself. Those always... So he's trying to take away my freedom. It's a Defcon had to rewrite loads of firmware in a few devices. I was actually like writing the code for the firmware. Come on. I think that was about the last one. This one down here is tricky. This power connector. If you try to take it off without warming it up, you will regret it. Because basically that's the Touch ID connector, so if you tear that, you're not going to have a very good day, and the customer's not going to be happy with you. Hay fever. Pedro, no. You're thinking of yourself there, Pedro. Old people have naps in the afternoon. Yeah, Lexi, that's the other thing is, yeah, Lewis complaining about me not having micro in my avatar, yet Lewis himself has a sheep as his. Oh, come on. Talk about being hypocritical. Oh, yeah, nice chunk of damage there, and nice chunk of damage over here, I think. So, it is pretty much so far as predicted. Let's hope it stays that way. Yeah. New mat, it is relatively new. Microscope camera needs a reset. It'll be back in a second. Okay, as you can see, that is not a very healthy looking CD3215 area. Now if we're lucky, it even almost took out the Pi 32. Hopefully it hasn't. It's taken out some of the protection circuitry. If we're lucky, we can just sort of clean all this up, replace some dud parts and back online. It is interesting though that it is charging, so it can't be that bad. So that may actually not be the actual fault on the board. It's a problem for sure, that area. Oh, okay. What's this? This is a lucky spotting. That could be ominous. What's that directly under? Yeah, that's directly under the T2. That's not what we want. So yeah, that's under the T2, and it's had some liquid around it, and I don't know whether it's evaporated off to leave this sort of shadow around it, or whether it's cooked itself to leave the shadow around it. Needless to say, that's more what I'm worried about, because like I said, the CD3215s, they must be running okay because of the fact that we did get 20 volts and charging, but what we weren't getting is a boot. So I'm just going to put my pink mark there. Makes it easy for me to spot. But yeah, stuff like that is what I'm worried about finding here. It is interesting, as bad as that liquid damage is around the 3215s, you know, it's still chugging along. Oh, it's an 850 build. My god, I am stupid. I should have known it was an 850. There was a phase there for a bit where I was getting nothing but 850s. Wow, I'm disappointed in myself. Let's have a look at the top side. I'm sincerely hoping the 3215s are okay, because quite honestly, having to remove them, given that they're underfilled, if you take one, you're going to have to take the opposite side as well in most cases. Every now and then you get lucky and you only have to replace the one, but most of the time, just from the disturbing, the amount of heat you require to get the first one off, it sort of tends to result in the second one that's underneath it to also have to be replaced, simply because you just sort of can't get the heat away from the board. The heat you require to get these lifted off with the underfill, by the time it's ready to go, the other side has already started to squeeze out. Alright, well, I can't find anything else, so we're going to clean up these areas. I may be wrong. There may just be some signaling lines here that are messed up, and that could be causing it. I guess we'll see. I need to get my roll of paper. Well done, Paul. Throw that stuff on the ground. Why not? So the first thing I think I'll do is just dry brush that. Could also be something up here. Certainly those ones there are cactus. I'm actually amazed that it is giving me 20 volts, because that's almost signature failed cap situation. I suppose I could experiment and try. Well, they're not registering as shorted yet. Oh wait, maybe they are. No, they're not shorted, but they're gonna be. Give them another 2 or 3 days and they'll be shorted. Hey Buddha. Did you hang up your dreadlocks for the night, did you? Normally you go for a few more hours yet. Time to get the Grim Reaper out. We'll start with the easy side first. Nice, slow and easy, 230 here. I need to hold the board down. I've got to get myself some proper sandbags here. Using 12 volt SLA batteries, while they are nice and heavy and they do the trick, it's not really the best option. So basically I put them on the logic board to stop it drifting around when I'm going at it with the Grim Reaper. In theory, even at 230 that I'm running right now, it can potentially squeeze out the solder if you have it there long enough. I mean, it will be a long time on a MacBook board because of the amazing heat transfer or wicking away heat that these boards have, but like I said, long enough and it would happen. Now, some people will say I could just knock those off, and they're sort of correct, I could, but I found that the way luck runs, there's a pretty good chance I'll actually tear a pad up, so I'm not going to do that. Oh yeah, hard drive could do the trick too. So yeah, this is my normal temperature for working on the boards right now that I'm hitting it with. There we go. And if you just keep tension on the part, and that means as soon as anything becomes liquid, it will move, which means you're not going to overcook that chip. Oh yeah, we got to get some replacements now. I think they should be 10 microfarad 6.3s from memory. Yep, 10.6.3 and 10.6.3. Okay. So I'll get them out of my boxes. Yes, Greg Paul S has indeed started streaming again, which is good to see. Oh, how'd you get? There you go. Hey, Kenny Ridden. Hey, Moroto. Yeah, I'm going to make my life a little bit easier by putting a bit of leaded solder down onto these pads. Just need to... way too much flux. That's better. Might be able to just get these ones done. Yep. Ah, messy. Okay, that's alright. I don't know, Stephen W. I've seen some people who just squeeze flux out like they've got a pipeline to Iraq. There's a bit of junk under that, stopping it from sitting flush. Need to just clear that out. Gotta be careful though, I don't want to overcook this area. It's better. Did I see DOS Dude's SSD builds? I think I did actually, yes. Or at least I saw something about it. I'm just going to solder test these 2 points. They look like they'll be okay, but I just want to verify. Yeah, they're okay. Okay, so that was the easy one. There's a little bit of tarnish on that cap there, but it won't be a problem, especially after this goes through the ultrasonic. But yeah, this whole section here is not quite so pretty. Trying to work out what we need to focus on. Trying to first see if anything has been corroded to the point where it's going to let go. So I'm sort of applying a little bit of pressure along the sides, see if anything lets go. Okay, I think I'm going to have to wet wash this area and get a better idea of what I'm looking at. I'm going to use some 80% alcohol here with 20% water. I had a look at that end cap there that you're talking about from the other side, and I sort of deduced, I think it's okay. It cleaned up alright once the flux and solder have gotten near it. And then we're going to hit it with some 100% alcohol, or at least close enough to 100%. 99.98, how's that sound? Hey PR. Just dry off the alcohol. That protection chip there, I certainly think needs to get replaced. That resistor there looks problematic. You can see how you can see the copper coming through there, and you can see how it's moving. Alright, let's have a look and find out what that resistor is for. Second, third in. Okay, that's URRX. Alright, well, we'll have to replace it anyway. Hey, Gary Hampson. I am a bit worried about these ones, so I will bring out the Grim Reaper and cut away the goo around there, because it's entirely possible that they've been etched out internally. And obviously that cap needs to be replaced, but that's not really a board killer at this point. So we're back down to 230 Celsius here. I mean, you can do this at 400 plus, but I don't recommend it. You'll probably be sitting there, if you do it at 400 plus, you'll be sitting there going, wow, this is going really easy. And then when it's too late, you'll realize the damage will be done and you'll have to redo the chip. I know it's true because I've done it. Hard to tell. The middle one looks a bit sus. So the top one and the bottom one, they're taking solder, but the middle one is not. Actually, that bottom one's moving around a bit much. So we'll take them both. The top one looks quite okay. It's got a good fillet on either side. But yeah, that one there, you can see the pad was kind of chewed out. Not sure why the bottom one was moving around though. Ah, now to find out what those are. Yeah, 1 mega. Okay, they're a pair of 1 megs. One meg 201s. That's such a weak pull-up that even if they were corroded, it probably wouldn't even notice. I mean, you can go up to like 10 megs for some situations, but not that common. Not in this sort of circuitry anyway. I got plenty down in the 0 ohm range. 1 ohm. Ah, here we go, 1 meg. Hope I don't lose these. What? How'd I end up with 3? Ah. Very small amount of flux. Regain the focus. And prepare to do 2 at once. Or maybe not. Oh, that didn't go to plan, did it now? Hey, Ruggers. Right, now we also have this one down here that we've got to deal with. And interestingly enough, that's also one heck, and unfortunately I threw away that other one that came out excessively, but as a general rule, if a part falls out, I try not to, for small things like this, I try not to put them back into the packet, because there's always the chance that it may not have actually come out from the packet. It might have just been some random stray part, and then you go put it back into the packet, and because they're not marked, you actually don't know that you now have an incorrect part in that packet. And then you go and use it, and yeah, it's just not worth it for the 1/10 of a cent that you save. Going Jason Vilma style there with that micro pencil. I don't really use an ESR meter for any of my MacBook work. I mean, I know some people, really it's just another tool and can be used in many ways, and some people find novel ways of using them for diagnostics and this sort of stuff, but it's not something I personally have ever bothered with for MacBooks. And when, say, it comes to dealing with electrolytic capacitors on the likes of mainboards and things like that, as in PC mainboards, most of the time it's quicker just to pull the cap and replace it. Particularly given that most of them, well, I shouldn't say most, but a good portion of them will already be telling you that there's stuff by the fact that they're bulging or whatever. Precisely, Kodak, yes. We'll take care of stray kittens, not stray parts. Wrong side of the tip, Paul. There we go. Probably don't need to put that cap back on, but I'm going to. What the heck was that noise? Okay, that's a 100 nanofarad 16 volt. Oh, it's my phone. Okay. Let's see, 100 nanofarad, 16 volt, 201. It's pretty standard jelly bean capacitor. Yeah, DEFCON, that's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, test them after you replaced them. The other fun thing is, of course, if you take them out, test them, and they're okay, you put them back, then by that action itself, you've probably already done damage to the cap. Well, Daniel, hopefully it will be comparatively easy, because I know this person would like to get their information back. And given that it's an 850, I don't have the option of the lifeboat connector. Now, there's a bit of junk on these pads here. That's your input switch MOSFET. They don't really actually look like any trouble, it's just a bit of junk on the solder pads. We'll clean them up anyway. I'm not yet convinced about replacing that. I'm just going to hold off until I've sorted out other situations. I think the big thing I'm worried about is the fact that there was this misbehaving cap under the T2. That there is what I feel is my actual smoking gun. And I don't like it because the fact that of where it's positioned. I've got to try and find the part. Let's see, what do you got? Two resistors. Okay, 45, 45. Alright, it's if that's shorted or something's wrong with it, that can cause issues for this particular circuit here. So basically, it's a low pass filter. Where's 45, 45? Resistor beneath it should be 49, 50 ohms. Obviously I'm not going to see that properly because it's in circuit, but I'm kind of curious to see. Yeah, we smack on 50, so that's good. I was just checking to see if maybe we have overcurrented or something like that. Yeah, definitely I tend to agree with that policy. It's open circuit. So the cap doesn't appear to be damaged. But yeah, as in it's not reading a short. And I'm just not sure whether I'm trying to evaluate my risks here. Because the T2 is on the other side, I don't know if this if you cook the T2, you're going to be up the creek. Okay, so it's not underfilled, thankfully. Usually they aren't, but just got to check that sometimes. Okay. Gonna put a couple of dabs of leaded solder on there, just to try and help it lift. Now this is one cap that you pretty much, okay, it's not absolutely essential to replace it, but I wouldn't like to run it without it though, because it is a part of a low pass filter, and if you don't put it there, then it's, well, the filter is no longer working. So it is not just a normal decoupling or anything like that. This cap has an actual purpose beyond just taking some ripple out of the circuit. There we go. They came off nice and quick, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I didn't have to sit there and cook up the board. There is a bit of blood coming out around it, so that's a good thing then that I replaced it. Now what is it supposed to be? 1 microfarad 63201. So 1 microfarad 63201. I haven't actually used any off this strip yet. Now I know a lot of people are saying, well, why don't I just use donor boards for this sort of thing? Because if you have a donor board, you can just take the part for part. And you're absolutely right, you can. And in many ways it can be quicker potentially. But for small discrete little bits like this, I do prefer to try and replace with new stock. It just makes me feel more confident about the repair. Okay, that's sat down very nicely. Now while that's cooling off the board, because we obviously don't want to power it too quickly, put too much power into it too soon, I'm going to just look over the board again, see if there's anything that I've missed. So there is that protection section there, but I don't think it was coming into play. I am still genuinely amazed that this thing even did take, request 20 volts. Failure of this chip here is a big problem on these boards. This here is the VREG for the NANDs. So very often I get these and they're corroded and the NANDs are being destroyed. It's a bit like on the 820 1700 boards and 1041s and things like that, where those VREG chips take out the NANDs. Okay, at this point I think we're just gonna plug it in and see how we go. Be a crack. Oh, I was going to say it'd be a crack up if I don't get 20 volts anymore. 100, 200, 100, 200. Okay, that looks like that is booting. We got up to 700. Was that actually running then? The USB-C port? Yep, Okay, it looks like we had a moment of 1.8 amps there. Interesting. Might be a prudent move to actually inspect these USB-C connections. I have had a few scenarios where you fix a board and you plug it all back in, and yeah, so like that USB-C connector needs replacing. I mean, it would have worked on one of the other ports, but it's not something you want to send it back like that. Oh, and this one, yeah, this one's burnt. So both of those need replacing. Guess who doesn't have two in stock? I've got one. It's okay, I'll get more. In the meantime, we'll just put the screws back in. And that way at least I can't get blamed for losing them. Actually, what might I do? Might just get the one that I do have, put it in. Go. Oh, yeah. Helps if you take the screws out again. I was just clearing the threads in those bodies, that's all. Yeah. Honest. It was all intentional. If you have a choice of what ports to save, always save the left-hand side, because that is the one that you need in order to be able to connect up to Apple Configurator and things like that. Or if you're doing... Actually, I'm not sure if target drive mode only works on the left-hand side or whether it's ambiguous. It's fine to go either way. I've always just used the left-hand side. It's funny how you can just simply not bother to check these things. Right, that should be enough to get us up and running. I haven't got the battery in there, obviously. We'll see how it goes first. Yep, Apple logo, we're alive. Whew. Good to see. Murata, yeah, you do have two master UPCs, but the thing is the left-hand side is the only one that will respond to when you plug into Apple Configurator. And typically on these, it's the left-hand one closest to the front of the machine. The right-hand side doesn't have that extra functionality. If you check on the schematic, I think you'll see something in there about T2 DFU mode activate or something. Alright, it's going to probably run a little bit slow because of the fact that I haven't got the battery in it. just plug the battery in and see how it goes. Then what we'll do is we'll back up the data, then after the data's backed up, we'll put it through the ultrasonic, and then after the ultrasonic it will be properly reassembled, good to go again. I prefer obviously to get data off before doing anything extra like ultrasonicking, because ultrasonicking can at times, we just knock that damned tab off. If this happens to you, you knock the tab off, do not panic, it is not actually broken per se. See this? You've just got to put it back on. So first thing you've got to do though is take the flex out. If you don't, terrible things might happen. Just pick it up, if you can pick it up and not. There we go. Now of course that only works for the smaller ones. Once they get beyond a certain size, most of the time the manufacturers integrate that lock bar into the pin assemblies themselves, so it won't work. You won't be able to pull it out separately, and if you do yank it out, then it is broken. But for the smaller ones, you can just pop them back on like that. That will be a customer who's dropping off a A1932. Let's see if the household office assistant gets that or not. Okay, fan spinning. Let's see if this comes up quicker. Yeah, you can see the progress bar's moving a lot quicker now. Hey Fried Egg, watched the video of you making the cat cage the other day. Oh yes, thanks. Wish your leg had pop. Yeah, I've still got a lot of work to do on that. I've actually got to decided now to make a base for it, but I've got to do that, and that's going to be a lot of work and a lot of wood. The cost of the wood is insane. Alright, you can see we're booted, so that one's fixed. And with that, I'm done for the day. I'll catch up with you next time. Until then, you'll take care. See you later.